Hey preschool, Mrs. Dean in the library again. I miss you guys, but I can still read to you, so here we go. Switching it up now. I started going through the bookshelves and I forget how many great books we have. So I came across this one because I love it and everybody always loves it. It's funny, it's fun. It's called More Bears. So here we go. More bears. Once upon a time, there was a story. This story was a lovely story with absolutely no bears in it. Not a single bear anywhere. Then one day, more bears. What? Who said that? The author of the story looked around, wondering where those voices came from. Where were those voices of children shouting? Where did they come from? Then he went back to writing. As I was saying, this story has absolutely no bears at all. The author was very certain about this. No bears. More bears! The author tried very, very hard to ignore the children, who thought that the story ought to have more bears. Fine. This story had a bear. It was a cute little baby bear strolling through the book looking for, what do you say? More bears. Now hold on a second. The author of this story knew exactly how many bears it should have. And the author insisted that there should only be more bears. 2 bears. There, happy now? An adorable, cuddly-wuddly little baby bear named Mr. Fluffy and his mama bear Stella, who always wore a yellow hat. Now, it happened that Stella and Mr. Fluffy, like all bears, were especially fond of more bears. More bears, of course. The author was just thinking that. The author was thinking that just to keep everybody happy, this story should have a papa bear, whose name, by the way, was Captain Picklehead, and a bear named Uncle Sheldon, who was bald and loved to play the ukulele. Now, where were we? Oh, yes. More bears. Stop that. How many bears do you want this story to have anyway? Do you really want to hear about Bobcat Sam, the bear who rode a pony, and Admiral Havisham, the English dancing bear, and Excellent Steve, the bear who just wanted to surf? You do? Wow, why didn't you say so? In that case, the author suddenly decided that what this story really needed was more bears. Yes, 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 more bears. So the author added Astro Bear, who, by the way, was Bulgarian and always kept a hamster in his pocket just in case. And then the author put in 3 more bears named Lester, Chester, and Esther, and Floyd. Wait, that's 4. Oh well, 4's okay, because after all, this story really needed more bears. It needed a bear named Lucky Eddie, who juggled carrots, and a bear named Elbow, who wasn't very smart and always wore his underpants on the outside of his regular pants, and a bear named 1, 2, 3, which even the author thought was a strange name for a bear. And since this probably wasn't enough, the author added even more bears. The author added 6 bears on tiny pink bicycles, 2 bears reading comic books, 1 bear flying across the page in a cape and lederhosen, 3 more bears swinging through the trees on vines, a bear in a yellow submarine, several bears making cupcakes, and an entire team of firefighting bears running across the page with hoses. ladders, and party balloons. There were bears hanging from the top of the page, bears sleeping in the corners, and bears standing on top of other bears. There were so many bears in this story that they couldn't all fit on the page. I see a problem here. How about you? It was crowded, too crowded. So crowded that some bears started pushing other bears off the page and arguing, which made the author grumpy. And when authors get grumpy, they start rewriting, changing the story. In fact, this author was so grumpy that he told the bears to leave. And they did, after all. This was the author's story. There they go. They walked off the page, they rode off the page. They swung, surfed, danced, climbed, ran, and even somersaulted off the page. At last, all the bears were gone. The author smiled. Finally, a story with no bears in it. A lovely story with not a single bear anywhere. Just the way the author wanted it. Because you see, the author was quite certain that this story should have absolutely more chickens. The end. I hope you enjoyed that. I love this book. It's fun to read, it's fun to look at, and it's fun to think about. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.